For 25 years, the Cayman National Cultural Foundation has been dedicated to bringing Cayman the finest in the arts. It's been a glorious and wonderful journey, at times filled with hardship and challenge. But more often than not, it's been a journey filled with remarkable achievements. Founded in 1977 by artist Bendel Hydes, playwright Frank McField, drama teacher Jeffrey Cresswell, Anita Ebanks, and Maureen Cresswell, the In Theater Company presented its first production on April 6, 1978.
But we felt that there was a need for another theater group that Caymanians could see themselves in and hear stories that were kind of local and had Caribbean themes.
Up to that time, most theatre had been put on by expatriates in Cayman. Generally was English farce or English drama put on in the town hall. And it was great to see, great to enjoy, but it didn't really, in some ways, fit in the overall picture of a Caribbean island.
The In Theater aimed to evolve into the Cayman National Theater Company, and to do that it needed a permanent home. In 1982, it announced plans to build its own theater. The driving force was Jeff Cresswell, who cultivated the support of Mrs. Helen Harquail. She donated 12 acres of land and funding for a modern theater in her late husband's name, Canadian industrialist F.J. Harquail. Once Caymanian businessman Lawrence Thompson donated land providing access to the theater from Lawrence Boulevard, the project truly began to pick up steam. In September 1983, the Honorable James Bodden laid the cornerstone for the first phase of the F.J. Harquail Cultural Center, the studio theater that would serve as a temporary home until the permanent theater was built. It opened in November 1983.
This was a really big step, especially from a performance point of view, because for the first time, though, the In Theater Company actors were in a space that was more like a theater.
Perhaps the most significant development in the history of the Cultural Foundation is its incorporation by legislation. In 1984, the Legislative Assembly passed the Cayman National Cultural Foundation law. While productions continued in the studio theater, architect John Doak worked on designing the Centerpiece Theater building. 2 years later, in 1986, the Harquail Theater was complete. Cayman now had a modern 330-seat theater that would be the envy of any community. The Harquail opened in 1986 to the sound of music.
That was the birth of real theater in a large scale, because before that building and before the foundation, it was always in small little rooms or in the school auditoriums. This gave the theater a home.
With the CNCF established and the Harquail Theater operational, renowned musician and singer Dave Martins took over as chairman.
Don't throw away the ends of your sentence. Speak until you finish speaking.
Henry Mathieu was hired as administrator in 1989, a decision that would affect the course of the CNCF over the next 2 decades.
When I came, and Dave Martins, who was the chairman at the time, he and I got together, and we sort of worked out a program for how we would move about developing the arts and culture.
2 years later, in 1991, his wife Marcia is appointed as theater administrator.
Our mission has been to make it clear that Cayman does have a thriving culture that is, up there with international standards. And some of our artists are certainly competitive with the rest of the world.
In 1995, the chairman's baton passed from Dave Martins to Martin Bowles, who had served on the CNCF board from its inception and continues today.
Our culture is in our food, the way we speak, the way we talk to each other, the way we express ourselves.
Over the last 2 decades, the work of the CNCF has grown to cover an almost unbelievable range of the arts and culture. In 1990, CNCF launched its Artistic Grants Program, and the first financial grant was awarded to Joy Brandon. She published Island Thoughts, Poems of the Cayman Islands, a collection of her own work.
All the best in this battlefield.
Today, the Artistic Grants Program continues, supporting the work of Caymanian artists such as Gordon Solomon, Swanky, the National Swing Band, and National Concert Band.
The National Arts and Culture Awards were also born in 1990. These awards recognize the work of artists, as well as those who work in and support cultural heritage. That same year, the National Playwriting Workshop and Competition debuted.
Yet another aspect of the CNCF's work is publishing. Its first publication, My Markings, The Art of Gladwin K. Bush in 1994. Will Jackson's memoirs, Smokepot Days in 1997. Frank McField's plays, Time Longer Than Rope and Downside Up. Leonard Dilbert's poetry, Grown from This Ground. And J.A. Roy Bodden's Stories My Grandfather Never Told Me. To ensure these works are available for generations to come, the CNCF has its own reference library at the F.J. Harkwell Cultural Center.
From written works to musical ones, the Foundation has worked to ensure that all aspects of Cayman's art and culture thrive.
The Foundation has produced 2 music albums, traditional music performed by Radley Gorzong and the Happy Boys, and Nuttin' Is Sweet, the music of Roy Bodden. Since 1992, CNCF has organized delegations to represent Cayman at international festivals. Because of CNCF, Caymanian performers and artists have been able to participate in the Festival of the Arts in Rugby, England, the Aberdeen International Youth Festival in Scotland, and in every Carafesta, the Caribbean Festival of the Arts.
In 1995, then Minister of Culture, the Honorable McKeeva Bush, suggested to the Foundation that it stage a youth festival. In response, CNCF created its own festival. It's called K-Fest.
Every country needs something where the artists get a chance to interpret their society, so that people in the country come and they see the work of the arts and they see how arts interpret culture. And then that interpretation feeds back into the culture that is living, that is changing every day.
It really does open the doors to people who have not had opportunities at all before to show off their talent, to come up on stage and just really let people see what they're made of.
Good to see you, man. Really good to see you. You gonna buy us some drinks?
All drinks on the house.
CNCF has also produced a considerable body of theatrical works. It has produced the winning scripts from the National Playwriting Competition, Charles Bush's Secondary Colors, dramas such as Fallen Angels and Frank McField's Time Longer Than Rope.
I'm wicked and I'm nasty and I'm dreadful and I'm mad.
And musicals such as Pirate Princess. In 1998, CNCF acquired more than 100 paintings of intuitive artist Gladwin K. Bush, known to many as Miss Lassie. Preserved in CNCF's national collection, the paintings are frequently put on exhibit. Cayman National Cultural Foundation is also spearheading the movement to save Miss Lassie's house as a national treasure. The aim is to refurbish her traditional Cayman house to its former artistic glory, making it available for public viewing. The foundation also wants to make the adjacent buildings available for use by artists and to develop the beach area to make it open to visitors.
Oh, I wish I was a seabird that would whistle and sing.
CNCF provided the stage. Ms. Julia Hides provided the talent.
On the top of our rigging,
with a unique brand of poetry, drums, and song. A winning combination and a perfect example of what the Foundation is all about.
One of CNCF's greatest gifts has been the creation of an event that revived the traditional art of storytelling.
And of course I must respect the gentleman.
Gimme Story, the Cayman Islands International Storytelling Festival, brought together local, regional, and international storytellers.
I told myself, well, come on, Frog, you can do it.
Gimme Story is performed in every district of Grand Cayman. Gimme Story proved to be a hit, but its popularity truly hit a groundswell when it was staged the November after Hurricane Ivan. There was a question as to whether it could be staged, but it was felt that some light entertainment would lift the spirits of the people.
You go to her, Mama, yeah, that's a bad idea, but if you send a proposal from Samsung to her Papa.
It was a special time because it showed that it showed the power of the arts to transform.
Hurricane Ivan changed life for everyone in Grand Cayman in 2004, and CNCF was no exception. The Harkwell Theater and Studio Theater were badly damaged by wind and flooding. The F.J. Harkwell Cultural Center was shut down until April 2007. Out of the rain came a refurbished Harkwell Theater and offices befitting a professional staff.
Even though it was tough on us, we pulled it through, and here is the place all new thanks to a lot of people.
As we've seen, Cayman National Cultural Foundation covers a wide range of work. It's come a long way in its first 25 years, and today it continues to develop awareness and appreciation for the arts and our culture. But the one thing that is probably associated with CNCF more than any other came to life right there on that stage behind me in 1991. The show was Rundown.
Makiwa, you go first.
Rundown changed the face of Caymanian theater. For the first time, there was original material that took a satirical look at Caymanian society, with all of our wrinkles, foibles, and beauty. Never before had a show in Cayman poked such fun at politicians, institutions, and even the clergy.
Look down and put everything in good order.
When we pick stuff from little things from each person,
Give me a hallelujah.
and put that together, come in, we rehearse it, and bam! We just let that go to the Cayman audience.
Me bowl of boiling coffee in morning.
The name Rundown is that it's all different cultures and nationalities thrown together to make like one, funny situation.
Although you complain, just relax and hold some string, yeah.
It's been an astounding success. A lot of the people who were performing in Cayman today are actually products of Rundown.
As we've seen, the Cayman National Cultural Foundation is dedicated to keeping art and culture alive and thriving here in these islands. Whether it's dance, painting, music, or drama, for the past 25 years, CNCF has been setting the stage for Cayman's talent to truly shine. It's been a wonderful adventure, and we hope the next 25 years will be just as amazing.